You're not even gonna believe this. Well, you might.
One of the biggest reasons why I want to start taking testosterone and transitioning is to actually become more feminine. And I know that sounds contradictory, but hear me out. Right now, I'm not comfortable expressing any parts of femininity because I feel like any feminine things I show will just make me a woman, which I am not. And I feel like the only way I can actually give myself the space to explore femininity is if I do it as a man. So basically what I'm saying is I want to wear jewelry, I want to wear earrings and necklaces. I want to try doing my nails and I want to try wearing makeup, but if I do that right now, it will just make me feel dysphoric, like I'm doing it as a woman. Only if I do it as a man, I'm able to fully be able to explore the feminine parts of myself that I've been too scared to express or have felt too dysphoric to express. I feel like the only way to do that is to actually transition, and only after transitioning I can afford to be able to explore the feminine parts of me that I really want to explore. So I don't know, maybe I want to be like a little fruity boy, and I just really don't know that until I take testosterone and transition more into a man.
Okay, I mean, today I'm going to show you the insane mental illness that is now attached more than ever. These are not trans men, okay? This is not transsexualism. This is actually, I think, girls, these are all girls I'm going to show you today, women who are struggling with being women. And that could be a lot of things. It could be so many things. I will almost guarantee you these people are not being diagnosed by a psychiatrist or a therapist. And if it's a therapist, they're being diagnosed by a gender affirming therapist who's just saying, okay, sure. That is completely not okay that this person is saying stuff like this. I'm going to show you how these trans men are so confused about what it means to have gender dysphoria and what it means to transition to just move forward and live as a man, like myself and like Marcus and like many other transsexual men who just live in this world. You probably never even know you would see them walking down the street. These people are doing some weird stuff. So I'm gonna laugh because it's funny, but in my heart, I know it's not, but I just can't not laugh at it because it's just absurd that we're feeding into these young people and letting them talk like this and acting as if it's okay. And also, I think, the invention of TikTok and all of these things has given people this platform to verbalize things to see how people react to it. It's really what I think. So you guys put this stuff out there. You guys are going to get a reaction from me, okay? Because I'm not going to put up with this nonsense anymore. I do not want to be attached to you wingnuts. So, here's the second one. I hope you're sitting down. And thanks again for liking and subscribing. I do appreciate it a lot. And I hope you got yourself a stiff drink. And if you don't drink, I hope you got yourself a nice cup of coffee or a tea. So let's get into this.
One of my goals transitioning was to get comfortable enough in my body and my gender to start presenting more femininely again, and I'm really not unique in that experience. There were a lot of parts of stereotypical femininity that I really enjoyed as a kid, and a lot of transphobic rhetoric made me feel like less of a man or that I couldn't be a man for feeling that way.
But you're not a man. You're a woman who thinks you want to be a man, and then you just, what? What?
Which is this insane double standard that I think reveals a lot of homophobia, because cisgender men exploring the same kinds of femininity and presentation don't have their genders questioned to the same degree.
Yes, they do.
Like, cis gay men doing drag or wearing makeup isn't really, like, held up as proof that they're not really men, to the same level that it does for trans men. Why is a cis man wearing a dress a man in a dress, but a trans man doing it has our trans identity questioned? But, like, reading into this double standard a little bit deeper, cis men...
Because let me just remind you, okay, miss, that trans women rarely want to cross-dress back as men. You are talking about men who are drag queens. You're mixing it all up, sweetie, all of it, okay? You're talking about gay men who want to do drag and dress like women as fun and go back to living as men. That's what actual drag is. And now you're talking about you were happy as a little girl, and then you decided that you were trans, and then you decided you wanted to be a man, but then as you became a man, you decided you want to go back to living as a... This is totally mental illness, okay? There's something going on with you that you haven't deep down looked at. Seriously, I'm not kidding, because what you're saying is complete rhetoric and actual insane.
Men also do have the legitimacy of their manhood questioned when they present femininely. Effeminate cis men are mocked with the same rhetoric used to mock feminine trans men, which has really solidified the belief that a lot of the time the policing of trans men's gender presentation is also just regular homophobia. Because it's not like cis men aren't also told that they're not real men, because
homophobia is about sexuality. You're talking about appearance. Do you see how mixed up they are? They don't even know the difference between sexuality and gender, yet they all talk about it. This person is totally word playing and gaslighting us and rage baiting us.
they present femininely. Like, I'm a very queer man, and
No,
somebody
you're not.
implying that I'm less of a man because I wear
You're not a
jewelry
man.
or carry a purse is just regular homophobia. Unfortunately, I think it's an experience that's sometimes just inherent to manhood in general, living under our sexist gender roles. Which is
Okay, I just can't. It's a little bit more, but this person is so insane. The insanity that just came out of this person's mouth. Why do these people transition? What are they trying to achieve is what I wonder. So they transition to some form of masculinity. Then they decide, whoops, actually, I think I just did one last week about a trans kid who transitioned at 14 and then realized, oh, I never really got to be a woman or decide what it felt like to be a teenage girl, and I want to go back to that. This is what I'm telling you. This has never, ever been in the transsexual male community, ever. These are young girls struggling with becoming women, which is, we all women out there know that, including me. It's a struggle going and getting to this next level. There's a lot of stuff going on there. These young women are struggling. Now they have access to transitioning to masculinize themselves, cut their boobs off, take the hormones. They start looking like men, and they're like, oops, actually, that's not really what I'm trying to achieve. Though I'm really a trans man. You know, you can't imagine how this makes me feel. You just can't even imagine.
You know, I've been thinking lately, and it can be so tough, but, you know, I'm really brave, so.
Just pure narcissism attached. That's a F to M. That's a trans man. Okay? Just because you have a mustache. What? I just wanted to show you that because I'm brave. They all think they're brave and they're valid and you can be anything you want, and you can trans and not look like a man, and you can be trans mask. What part of man are you missing? Trans man. Wow. Fuck.
So I was just forcibly outed at work today, and I'm gonna try not to cry throughout this video, but I'm very emotional, because it was probably one of the worst things I've ever experienced, and one of my biggest fears.
What?
So I'm trans. Ugh, I know, right? Gross.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it because it's not a big part of my identity.
Sure.
I'm just a guy. I'm just Ren. Like, it's whatever. And I live in the South, and a lot of people are bigots, and a lot of people are mean, so I don't go around telling people. And I work with a lot of people. The staff I work with is really big. So I don't tell people that I'm trans because I don't. The questions and the bigotry I would experience, it would just be ridiculous.
They know.
But the only thing I do is I don't go by my dead name. I go by Ren everywhere. In the system at work, it's Ren. I can be like misgendered all day long, but I cannot go by my dead name. It's like I haven't done it in years. It will put me in a place. I just won't do it. And I've set it up to where 1 or 2 people know my dead name, so that they'll put it in the system and it's fine. I've worked here for months and it's been fine. Nobody's known. So yesterday, I'm walking around and my manager comes up to me and she's like, "Hi, Ren," or should I say blank dead name? And I go, I'm gonna say it's Jane, which is nowhere near my dead name, by the way, so don't even try. She's like, "Hi, Ren," or should I say Jane? I go,
Okay. I just really want to say this, okay? These kids are struggling. these kids are struggling with some mental stuff going on. They're not digging deep. People are just affirming these kids' delusional trans identity so that they get so wrecked when someone outs them. I hate to break it to you, little one, but you look like a girl. You don't look like a dude. You don't sound like a dude. You don't have to out yourself. Everyone knows. Okay? Because you're also using a different name. So if you were so concerned with not being outed, okay, maybe you make a little bit more effort for reals to look male. You sound like a little girl. The delusion of these kids, it's so insane. It's like living in a train wreck. We're just sitting here watching these kids spin out over and over and over. I got dead named. I got misgendered. I'm a man, but I really want to be a woman, but I'm just a man who wants to be a feminine woman. And oh my God, you know how much it takes for me to find these things. It's mind blowing. I have to take a break after because it's just, but the reason I do this is because I really want you to see these kids are struggling. These girls are struggling with mental stuff. They need to go to some hardcore therapy and work it out. And we got to push them through the puberty. They need to be pushed through the puberty. We're just giving in to them. Okay, take a little testosterone and cut your boobs off. You'll be fine. Yeah, sure. You just wait. They're all going to come back. So here's another delusion.
Because of misogyny, so many things go unnoticed in the trans community. Specifically with trans misogyny, there's this expectation that trans women are suffering from autogenophilia, which is the attraction to oneself as the female gender. But I'm here to tell you that I honestly think that autogenophilia actually is a real thing, but it's just way more prominent in the trans masculine community. I mean, how many trans masks do you know that are obsessed with drag?
None.
How many trans masks do you know that literally are attracted to themselves as femme, but still feel dysphoric when they present femme?
Did you just hear that? How many trans men do you know that are attracted to themselves as women? I actually don't know any. I don't. That's what I'm telling you. This new breed of trans men. Okay, and this one says they're a trans man. You got to remember, these people are trying to say they're like me. It's so insane. It's like me saying I'm black. Okay, like I'm just like this person right here. I'm black. So what? What are you talking about? Like what? No, sorry. I don't know that many. I don't know any that many. I know no trans men who are attracted to themselves in the female form. In fact, we're repulsed by it. The thought of it spins us back into our dysphoria.
It's because of misogyny that people think that the only people that can experience attraction towards themselves as a female would have to be somebody assigned as male. But no, somebody who identifies as male can be attracted to themselves as a female, myself included.
Yeah, autogynephilia is real, okay, for sure. But I am serious. I do not know any transsexual men who transition to be men and then want to fetishize themselves as women. I do not know any of those.
But I'm a baddie, so can you blame him?
I wasn't even ready for that. That's what I'm telling you. This is the creepiest, weird. They seem so off. They seem so mentally off and whacked out. I really do think there might be some internalized misogyny maybe going on with these young girls where they hate being women and they hate the thought of growing up to be a woman because they witness things or things have happened to them, right? I don't hate women. As you know, I'm very focused on women and women's rights. I did not transition because I hated women. I transitioned because of my actual dysphoria, which was stopping me from moving forward in the world because I was being perceived as a woman. Okay, I'm not an idiot. I know I'm still a female. I get it. You all know that I'm pretty grounded around all that. These people actually think they're changing themselves when they're not changing themselves, but they're going back and forth and playing with all these things. But the problem, look, I have no issues if you want to cross dress and do all that. You go right ahead. The problem is the hormones and the surgery and all of these irreversible things that they're taking on alongside this.
So I'm at about 4.5 months post-op surgery, and I have to say that one of the weirdest elements of presenting sort of femme and having had this done is that nobody notices. To me, it feels extremely obvious, but to the average stranger on the street, I think it just reads like I either have a small chest or I'm wearing a sports bra. Even when I wear stuff that shows my scars, I get the impression sometimes people think it was cancer. That obviously feels pretty weird. My mom's a cancer survivor, and I'm not trying to co-opt the vibe. I would happily correct anyone who asked me, but I think when
Yeah, but your co-op transsexual male space, this person also thinks they're a trans man. What?
strangers see me from afar, yeah, I get how they could make that assumption. I thought I was making this up until a cashier commended me on my bravery, and I was like, yeah, I guess top surgery is a lot to go. Oh my God, that's not what you mean. And I absolutely think about the fact that something I did as an elective choice that makes me feel incredible would to some people be like a life-altering, devastating body horror. I want to say that this sort of passing privilege is weird, but I had 20 years of that invisibility of being bisexual to get me ready for it. I still get catcalled, but more from behind.
Wait, this person thinks they have passing privilege. Would you ever call that person Mr.? Would you ever call that? What? This is actually, I swear to God, you guys, it's the most mind-blowing thing ever for me to see these these girls in their such a delusional. This is true delusion. This is actually true delusion here. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one up because, pardon me for coughing, from my friend Ariella Scarcella, who braves these pride spaces, and I could never do it. I just couldn't handle it. My temper might kind of go off on some of these people. But I'm going to bring a couple ones here to lighten the load a little bit. So you're going to just enjoy what I found.
What is a trans gay man?
Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys.
So you're straight, but also retarded. Seems simple enough.
God, how can you not love that? I think these people, I love that they're getting so called out. These are girls who say they're trans men who like dudes. They literally present as girls.
And I recognize the ways in which I could try harder.
Okay.
But the harder I try, the more it hurts when people don't see the effort.
Well, that's what I keep trying to tell you all. You better be prepared for backlash. People still call me she just to be mean, okay? So I don't know why you think it's going to transition, is going to change everything for you. It's not. And in fact, it might make things harder. People aren't going to play into your thing, whether you like it or not, whether you call it transphobia. This is what I keep trying. That's why I wanted to show you this. These people expect you to play into their space. I don't expect that from you. You can call me whatever you want. Go right ahead. I know exactly what's going on. It takes a long time to get into the space that I have gotten into. So when I see these young people coming up and saying these things, I'm like, no, you got to do the work. Okay? It's not just going to get handed to you. It's the work to pass, to figure it out, to walk the world and get misgendered, to try to find when. I held my pee for 8 hours because I couldn't figure out which toilet to go into. You're going to have to do that too. It's part of the work and figuring out, is this really worth it for me to do that?
I know what I look like. I understand.
Okay, then.
Why people don't see a man when they look at me.
Okay.
I understand that most people don't know what non-binary is.
Wait a minute. You just said you were a trans man, okay? So wait a minute. I thought you were a trans man who was trying to transition to look like a man, but now you're saying you're non-binary.
So they're not going to look at me and peg me as that.
Well, what is non-binary? You just said you want to pass as a man, and you know you don't pass, and you want people to call you man. But wait, what are you talking about?
And there is no way to look non-binary. You can look so queer that people don't think of your gender when they look at you. But you can't really look non-binary.
Oh my
God. There are so many
God.
different ways to be non-binary.
Is there?
And shooting for androgyny is largely upholding colonialism, right? That is upholding the binary.
Oh my
So
God.
I get it. I get that.
Oh my God. She just spilled the beans. She's one of those. It's colonized. Oh my God. Colonialism. Binary is a colonialism space. It's not. It's literally a fact. It's an actual human fact. So this person now, you see, they just spun out too. They spun out. They're not, they don't make it, they don't know who they are. They have no idea who they are. They have no idea what they want. I bet if people did start calling them he, they would get freaked out and start changing around. And then they're like, oh, why did I do that? Like, they're just going out of control. It's just so disgusting on so many levels. So with that, I just want to leave you with this. I can't. I just can't. I've got to call these people out. They're not trans people. They are people, women. These are all women dealing with their own scared space of becoming women. And so instead of trying to push through that and getting some therapy and understanding why they don't want to be women, they're just using a medicalized space that was there for people who have actual gender dysphoria, who have gone through the work to figure it all out so they could use the medical system. They're abusing a system that was made for people who literally have gender dysphoria. I will say that every single person I showed you today probably doesn't have, they have something else going on, in my opinion. And we got to stop this, and we got to get back to helping these young girls figure out that they can become young women and they can move forward in their lives without doing all of these medicalization or this like mental gymnastics to denounce their own internalized misogyny, because I really do think that's what it is. So with that, thanks so much for supporting my channel. Can't do it without you. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, love reading the comments, and helping this channel grow, because it is. And with that, I thank you so much, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.